Yes, sir.
Sir,
A
can we
warm,
start?
yes, sir. A warm good morning to one and all present here. On behalf of the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, Dr. NGP Institute of Technology, Coimbatore, I welcome all you for the Day 2, Session 3 of the AICTE sponsored Phase 2 online STTP on Machine Learning and Internet of Things for Industrial Applications. So today's session topic is application of machine learning methods for time series prediction in IoT perspective. A wonderful resource person is here, Dr. T. Aruldas Albert Victory, and he is associate professor from the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, Anna University Regional Campus, Coimbatore. A warm welcome you, sir. Dr. T. Aruldas Albert Victory earned his BTech degree from Pondicherry University, Pondicherry, India, an ME degree from Madurai Kamaraj University, Madurai, and PhD degree from Anna University, Chennai. So all his degrees in electrical engineering. He is currently the associate professor of EEE Department, Anna University Regional Campus, Coimbatore. He has published more than 50 scholarly and refereed journal articles and also a potential reviewer in several indexed journals. His research interest includes developing hybrid intelligent optimization algorithms applied in power system operation and control, cyber physical power systems, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. And we are delighted to have you as a resource person for this AICTE sponsored online phase 2 6 days short-term training program on machine learning and Internet of Things for industrial applications, sir. And today the session is yours, sir. Please, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Good morning to all of you. I think
Morning, sir.
I don't need to have self-introduction because the organizers have already given sufficient introduction about me. At the outset, I would like to thank the management, the principal of Dr. NGP College of Technology, Coimbatore, for giving me this opportunity for being with you in this webinar. My special thanks to Professor Jagan, who is also the organizing secretary and the coordinator of this AICTE sponsored faculty development program. I'm also thankful to all the participants who have shown interest to understand and to learn something about the application of Internet of Things and machine learning methods for industrial applications. Today's presentation will be basically about the need of machine learning methods for the application in time series data prediction. Hope all of you know the topic of this particular AICTE sponsored workshop is very promising and is very potential for the current scenario, because both the topics are very recent and have been widely studied in various parts of the world. Machine learning is a very promising area, and similarly Internet of Things is also an upcoming area. Combining these two different domains and application of these domains in the industrial application is also a promising topic of interest in these days. My topic today will not have much to discuss about Internet of Things because I'm not an expert in Internet of Things. I'm basically about engineer. I'm specialized in some topics in machine learning. My recent contribution in electricity price prediction or forecasting using some recent neural networks, which has been recently published in IEEE Access. So with this support and with this knowledge in artificial neural network, I claim that some part of machine learning method I can discuss, I can give presentation, so that I believe that some of you who are pursuing your PhD or doing some extended research after your PhD postdoc will get some idea about the application of machine learning methods for time series prediction. This particular topic is also not restricted to any particular field. Hope you know that almost all the fields are now expecting a future forecasting of their resources. Nobody can predict what is going to happen for the petrol price tomorrow. Nobody will be able to predict what is going to happen for the gold price tomorrow. Every price, you cannot even predict what is going to be 1 kilogram of sugar or 1 kilogram of wheat or 1 kilogram of rice tomorrow or day after tomorrow, maybe after 1 year. So forecasting or prediction plays a very important role in our day-to-day life. Similarly, any topic, rather it is IoT or industries or power or manufacturing, whatever it is, it needs some forecasting. What is going to happen in the future? How much automobiles I can sell in the future, or how much amount of resources that I need to manufacture a particular product. Likewise, prediction is unavoidable in any field. Therefore, when prediction comes, naturally, time series or time series data is unavoidable and it is inevitable. When you deal with time series data is volatile in nature, random. You cannot easily judge, or even you cannot easily predict what is going to be the value of a particular data after a few hours of time or few days. That makes prediction or forecasting a very important and a promising area of research or topic that has to be discussed. So with this introduction, I would like to go into the actual presentation that we will be discussing in today's session. So I would like to open the PPT and I would like to close the camera. Into helpful. You don't have to look at my face, just the presentation makes sense. So I have closed the camera and hope the machine learning, the PPT is available in the screen for your reference. I hope that all of you will be able to see the PPT now.
Yes, sir. It's visible, sir.
It's visible, sir.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Now, application of machine learning methods for time series prediction in the IoT perspective. Actually, this topic is very general in nature. Hope you see that I cannot present a full topic of the entire machine learning methods applied for time series prediction in IoT perspective. But I would like to give a brief presentation of what is the motivation of this topic. What made me to choose this topic? When Professor Jagan approached me for a session in this particular AICT sponsored FDP, he informed me that the topic is about machine learning and IoT. So I thought of whether I can give a presentation about machine learning methods applied to IoT problems. That means I have to choose some problem which requires machine learning methods. And to my knowledge, I can only discuss about how I can apply machine learning methods. Most specifically, I can say the machine learning methods means I here refer to artificial neural networks for some prediction problem in IoT. That means I need to find out a problem which can be suitably applied using some artificial neural network methods for time series prediction. What do you mean by time series prediction? Time series, what do you mean by time series? Anything which varies with respect to time. Any data which has a different value when the time changes. Anything you can imagine is going to change with respect to time. The value, whether it may go high or it may go down, but it will be definitely a time varying quantity. That is where you need some prediction. What is going to be the value maybe after 1 hour, maybe after 5 minutes, maybe after 1 minute. So what is the need of prediction, or what is the need of forecasting? What is the necessity to do this, and why should you need a specific method that could able to help you to find out what is going to be the value of the future of that quantity? That makes sense as far as this topic is concerned. That we will discuss in detail. But before that, I would like to tell what are the topics that will be covered in this presentation. I'll give some introduction about Internet of Things, because that is the major topic of this workshop. And we will also discuss about the time series prediction. What is the necessity of this time series prediction? And of course, artificial neural networks are going to be the main or prime tool for this prediction. And then artificial neural network alone cannot support or can perform well when your time series data is volatile. Hence, I will be asking, or I will be using the support of some meta-heuristic methods to help the artificial neural networks to increase the accuracy of its prediction. That is the main aim why we are going to discuss about a meta-heuristic method that is going to support the artificial neural network learning or training capability. Thereby, the accuracy of prediction of this time series data can be achieved. Once we could able to understand how these methodologies are going to predict the time series, then we will see the implementation and a small discussion. I hope most of you must have heard about this term Internet of Things, IoT. It is the evolving field which is going to have full control of the human race maybe in another 5 or 10 years. You can be easily tracked, you can easily controlled, and you can be easily able to completely in a boundary so that anyone could able to track you, not only you, your house, the various accessories or various household goods that can be easily tracked of its working, whether it should be kept on or off, or whether it can be allowed to operate. Everything will be decided by the use of internet. So this is not going to be any more old topic. This is going to be a topic of interest for every one of us in a days to come. So Internet of Things is a network of physical objects or called things that are embedded with software, electronics, networks, and sensors, which allows these objects to collect and exchange data. The entire IoT process starts with the devices themselves, like smartphones. Your smartphone, of course, you can call it as an Internet of Things. Hope if you would have browsed something maybe yesterday or day before yesterday, you can see some information regarding that will automatically get displayed today. For example, you would have searched for some TV or a new mobile phone yesterday or day before yesterday, or a washing machine. Probably those information that you would have searched 2 days or 3 days before will be now available in your screen, and the screen will tell you or suggest you can go and visit this page so that you can get a lot of information about the one that you have browsed 2 or 3 days before. That means some closed loop network is watching you, which is an example for IoT. In a broader sense, if the IoT is enabled fully, that we call in electrical engineering as a smart grid. A smart grid is nothing but an IoT, which is also called a cyber physical system. That means I can switch on or switch off a bulb using my smartphone, or else the IoT device itself will be able to switch off and switch on, or give me a suggestion whether it should switch on or switch off using some sensor. We call it as motion sensor. If nobody is there in my home, what is the necessity for the light to switch on? So it will give idea to me so that I can take a decision based on the data I receive. So I will receive data from the IoT device. Similarly, I will transmit back or send back data to the IoT device. Thereby, bidirectional communication is possible and a decision can be taken automatically. Now, what is the Internet of Things and how big is going to be the Internet of Things? It is getting big and getting bigger. There are already millions of devices people started using in the world. It is predicted that around 41.6 billion connected IoT devices will be there by 2025. It is also suggests industrial and automotive equipment represents the largest opportunity of connected things, but it also sees strong adoption of smartphone and wearable devices in the near term. Every industry or every household will be automatically transformed for the use of Internet of Things. And when you come to an industry, hope you all have heard about the fourth industrial revolution, or Industry 4, have already started using IoT technology. The concept is same as for the consumer IoT devices in the home, but in this case, the aim is to use a combination of sensors, wireless networks, big data, AI, and analytics to measure and optimize industrial processes. There are several industrial processes which will be automatically connected to the IoT, and thereby we'll be able to make use of the modern technology to make your production faster, effective, and thereby cost saving is also possible as far as the usage of IoT industrial applications. The process of monitoring the availability of these things is a difficult task owing to large number of devices. Hope you know that if you take a home, if you take your home, you just imagine how many devices are there, or how many devices which require human attention. When you take a home, probably you must be having around 20 devices or 20 equipments that requires human attentions every day. And if it going to be automated, then automatically the efficiency of these devices can be easily attained. Now, when you connect more large homes or large number of houses, large number of industries in a big city like Bangalore or Chennai or Mumbai, just imagine how many number of devices will be there. Now it is expected that all these devices will actively communicate with each other, thereby a large amount of network traffic is imposed on this IoT. So traffic is one big problem, or network traffic is one big problem that this IoT, when fully implemented, is going to face. Internet of Things, cloud computing, and data center applications are keep on going or rising. Similarly, networks have to cope up with ever increasing traffic demands. So now I think I can stress again that network traffic is going to be a problem that has to be overcome when you fully implement IoT. That is where we are going to see this particular presentation is going to concentrate on prediction of network traffic. I call it as traffic prediction. Thus, the efficient utilization of network equipment has become crucial. The task can be accomplished effectively if the network traffic can be predicted accurately. Accurate traffic prediction has application in many networking areas like energy savings, network resource management. Therefore, when you were able to predict the traffic, network traffic in advance, you can able to manage the network resources that can be effectively applied to the IoT operated network, whereby the congestion can be avoided, attacks can be avoided, and thereby the power consumption of this entire network can be reduced. That is the main aim of predicting the traffic in an IoT structure. Traffic prediction is being used in core routers of the internet to save significant amount of power. As I already told you, the main aim is when you able to predict the traffic a little bit advanced, you can able to reduce significant amount of power consumption. But with increasing traffic demands and computational requirements, the number of complexity processors used in these routers are on the rise, resulting in greater power consumption. Therefore, it is the need of the hour to predict the traffic so that you will be able to reduce the power consumption. Hope you know that how high power consumption of equipment and subsequent rise in cooling costs result in increased operational expenditure of the network. Therefore, a precisely predicted future traffic load will help us to design the greener traffic-aware networks. Therefore, as I told you earlier, time series prediction can be compared to the network traffic prediction, because each and every second your network traffic is going to change. I told you that time series is nothing but some data changes with respect to time. Hope you understand now. When a particular data changes with respect to time, I have an opportunity to use machine learning methods to predict the possible future data with respect to time. Therefore, I take that as an advantage and I will discuss how I am going to design an artificial neural network, which is also a machine learning method. Thereby, I will try to show you how this artificial neural network is going to predict the future value of this data. What is this data? This data here is traffic, network traffic. I hope you are all getting. I'm going to use a machine learning methods, more specifically an artificial neural network, that is going to predict the time series. What is the time series here? The time series here is the traffic, that is network traffic in the IoT. I hope you are able to understand what is the main core idea behind this presentation. The idea behind this presentation is I'm going to show you how an artificial neural network is going to predict the time series data. And in IoT context, this time series data is nothing but your network traffic. This network traffic will change with respect to time. That's all. Hope you know that there are a variety of contents, internet contents are keep on increasing, like YouTube, Netflix, video games, chats, video conferencing, everything is going to increase the network traffic. Thereby, the IoT is going to face an extremely high traffic load. Thereby, the IoT structure or the system should be able to predict some traffic in the future so that it will be able to reduce the power consumption and thereby the resource can be managed effectively. Now, these are some of the traces. That means when I say that I am capable of using some artificial neural network to predict some traffic, network traffic in the future, I could able to sustain or I could able to establish how this is definitely is going to work. That means in IoT they call it as traces. Traces are large number of real network data that are used to study the performance of the predictors. Now the predictor here is your artificial neural network, which is again a machine learning algorithm. There are three most commonly used traces are available: CAIDA, University of Auckland traces, and Belco research traces. These three traces are widely used as network traffic traces or network traffic load in real time. So again, I would like to reiterate that this presentation is going to help you to understand how a time series data is predicted using a machine learning method. Machine learning method is artificial neural network. This time series is nothing but the time series may have several examples. For example, your market, daily gold price, daily petrol price, daily commodities price, anything may be classified as a time series data because the value of that data is varies with respect to time. Hope you understand this. In the same way in IoT, I can say a time series data is nothing but a network traffic. This is one time series data in the IoT. Now, to predict this time series data in the future, I need to use a machine learning algorithm. That machine learning algorithm is nothing but artificial neural network. This artificial neural network is going to be studied or it's going to be discussed now along with the meta-heuristic algorithm that will be helping this artificial neural network to tune the algorithm. Thereby, you could able to predict some possible future values. Thereby, the future value will help the IoT data so as it can effectively operate, and thereby the power consumption can be reduced. Sorry, excuse me.
So time series prediction. A sequence of random variables taken at successively equal spaced point in time. So a data that is varying with time. So time series predictions uses informations regarding the historical values and patterns to predict the future. As an example, I told petrol price, gold price. So here are some examples of time series forecasting. For energy, it can be electricity price, load or demand. In terms of weather, it can be a wind speed, which is used to calculate the wind farms power. Then solar irradiance for predicting the energy from photovoltaic plants. So time series components. So the data can be an additive of all these four components. The four components maybe are, first is trends. So you can see the x-axis is the time and there is a variation in the points. So first is trend, so which can be either in increasing or decreasing behavior. The second is seasonality, so which has a repeating pattern. Then irregular, so which varies irregularly with respect to time. And the fourth component is cyclic. So time series component may include all additive of 4 or some part of this. So in order to model and analyze time series, some statistical methods are used. So before analyzing the ANN, I would like to suggest the researchers to go for the basic analytical methods, how a time series can be predicted. So I'm just giving the names that are going to be utilized in statistical methods. So autoregressive, integrated moving average, autoregressive moving average, hybrid of those two, an autoregressive integrated moving average, the hybrid of all the three. So on fractionally integrated moving average. So these are the methods or models used to predict time series data. So even these data or these methods can give answers. So high accuracy can be achieved through artificial networks. So next I'll discuss on what is ANN. So ANN, artificial neural network, algorithm which is inspired by design and function of human brains. So it mimics the function of human brains. It is composed of information processing systems working in parallel, whose function is determined by network architecture and connection strength. So there is an architecture and there are connections between those architectures and the informations are processed parallelly. So the informations are nothing but the historical data in case of time series. So as I told earlier, it is mimics the biological neural system. So this slide shows the analogy between the biological neuron and artificial neuron. So just some comparisons between the biological neuron and artificial neuron. So these are the terminologies that you have to know while implementing ANN. So the dendrites in case of biological neuron is input, the nucleus is the node, axon is the output, and the connections of weights can be synapses. So we have an input and which are connected with weights, and it is giving an output after a process of activation function. So a fully connected 3-layer feed-forward network is shown here. So where there are 3 layers. One is input layer, second is hidden layer, and the third is the output layer. So all these 3 layers are interconnected with weights. The layers have input neurons in the input layer, consist of hidden neurons which processes input information, hidden neurons, and output is output neuron in the output layer. So basically in an ANN we will have a 3 layers single feed forward network: input layer, hidden layer, and output layer. So it is ANN is machine learning approach that mimics the functions of brain. So large number of interconnected processing elements called units or neurons operate in parallel, and they are configured in architectures. Neurons are connected with a link associated with weights which contain the informations of input signal. So these informations are used by the neural network to solve a problem. So far we could say that there is an input layer, there is a hidden layer, there is an output layer. All are interconnected with weights, and those weights contains the informations of the input signal. So in order to particularly you see how the neural networks have evolved, so basically from the year of 1943 we have different types of neural network. So the applications of neural network varies from image processing, handwriting recognition, speech recognition, and time series predictions. So in order for networks can be also used for the purpose of classifications. So these networks, the advanced networks like a long short-term memory and the element neural network, which are going to discuss, can also be used for deep learning, so which can process large number of data and with large number of hidden layers. So the basic classifications of ANN. So 3 important classifications can be on connections, it can be by learning, and it can be by activation functions. The activation functions I have mentioned here are the basic models, but there are high models or functions that can be used for training your network. It depends upon the problem that you are going to deal with. So based on connections, single layer feed forward network. So as I said, that is a single layer. So that here the layer can be suggesting a hidden layer. So input layer, hidden layer, then output layer. Multi-layer feed forward network. So when the number of the hidden layers is increased, it can be termed as multi-layer. Then with the feedback, the output is sent back as an input to the input layer is called as a feedback. Then we have a single layer recurrent neural network and multi-layer recurrent neural network. So a recurrent neural network is a special network where there is a associative memory, which is called a context unit, which process the output from the hidden layer and sends revert back as an input to the input layer. The next type is learning. So there are three types of learning. One, supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. So when your neural network is learned from the output and the error is fed back to the input, it is called supervised. So there is a person who is supervising your activity. There is a target, and the target and your predicted values will be compared, and the error is sent back to the input layer. So in order to process the training or prediction, we have a error which is fed back to your input layer. So the networks that uses this supervised learning are back propagation, SVM support vector machine, extreme learning machine ELM. These networks or training algorithms uses supervised learning. In case of there is no target, then the learning is called as unsupervised learning. So if there is a information of partial information of the target and we don't know the full target, we have only a partial information and we process the training algorithm with the learning is called as reinforcement learning. So the activation functions are identity, binary, bipolar, sigmoidal RAM, which after processing the inputs from the neurons and weights have a threshold, and there is a comparison between the threshold value or the target value and the processed value, and we can compare with any of these functions and we get the output. So in time series predictions, we opt for supervised learning. And we can use any of recurrent layers or multi-layer feed forward network according to the complexity of the problem that you are going to handle. So one such neural network I want to discuss here is Elman recurrent neural network. This was developed in the year of 1990 by Elman, and it is a more classified in recurrent neural network, RNN. So multi-layer feed forward network with feedback connection is called a recurrent neural network. So Elman network is formed with regular input layer and an additional layer with context units. So this context unit is the associative memory that I already discussed. So there are, here we have 4 layers. So already mentioned, the neural network will consist of input layer, hidden layer, and output layer. And this context layer is an additional layer which makes the network a recurrent neural network. This context unit acts as a memory to store the copy of the activation of the hidden units from the previous estimated output. The output of the activation function of the hidden unit is fed back to the hidden unit again through the context along with the next input sample. So initially you have an input sample. It is sent to the input layer, hidden layer, and output of the hidden is sent back to the input as input to the context layer. So when the second input sample is processed, the output of the hidden sent to the context layer aids for the training processes. So the architecture of the Hellman neural network, so input layer, so these neurons corresponds to the input layer and it is connected to the hidden layer with the weights, and it is processed to the activation functions, and the output of the hidden layer is sent back to the recurrent layer, the context layer, this with a delay unit, this z power minus 1, which is called as a delay unit. So it is sent back to your recurrent layer. So when the second input sample is processed, the output from the first hidden is sent as an input and it is processing with the hidden layer, and it is finally the output layer, we get the output. So the governing equations of the Hellman neural network is the activation function of the hidden layer will consist of the weight and the input, the recurrent neural network weight, and the previous hidden layer input with bias. And the function is the tangent hyperbolic function. So this is the activation function that is used for Hellman. So the output layer will have hidden neurons, output hidden neurons, and the output, and pure link function is used for the activation function of the output layer. So this equations by using by back propagating the error fed back to the input and the training process is held. So even though this Hellman neural network can be used for time series predictions, the weights are randomly generated. So when the process of randomosity happens in any network, the network can be aided with meta-heuristic methods. So meta-heuristic methods are nowadays primarily used technique for solving the complex problems. So any non-linear, non-convex problem can be solved using meta-heuristic methods. So those problems can also be handled with conventional deterministic algorithm. But the major issue of the deterministic algorithm is they have a premature convergence, and we cannot relay either whether the answer or the solution is a global optimum solution. So these evolutionary algorithms search for the global optimum in the search space by a random set of solutions. So in case of ANN, the weights are the random set of solutions. So these weights have to be optimized. So this meta-heuristic mechanism have several advantages when compared with the deterministic approaches, such as it is the mechanisms can be problem independent. So it can be applied for any complex problems. The problem may not be, we need not to derive the first order derivative or second order derivative. It can be applied in the direct problem itself. So mature convergence, the local optimum entrapment problem, is handled by meta-heuristic methods, and these algorithms are simple and effective to apply for any problems. So meta-heuristic methods, starting from genetic algorithm, we have different variations of algorithms, different kinds of algorithms which mimics different natural behaviors. So why these many algorithms is a particular, it is because of the no free-lunch theorem, that is no particular algorithm can be applied for a problem. So with the evolution process, mimicking the evolution process, we have genetic algorithm, differential evolutions, mimicking the foraging behavior, algorithms such as particle swarm optimization, artificial bee colony, and colony optimization, bacterial foraging optimizations are used. Mimicking the laws of physics, we have gravitational search algorithm, simulated annealing algorithm, all these algorithms mimicking a natural process. So here I like to discuss about one such kind of algorithm which can be used for aiding the training process of an ANN is Ant-Lion optimizer algorithm. So this algorithm was developed by Syed Ali Mirjalili. So it was inspired by the hunting behavior of antlion. So the common name for antlion is doodle bug. So this is a prey predator algorithm classification, such as group search algorithm. This is also a prey predator algorithm. So a prey is nothing but an ant. So this antlion catches the prey. So how this antlion hunts and catches its prey? This behavior is mathematically modeled for the search algorithms for search for process and is realized as antlion optimizer. So an antlion digs a cone-shaped pit in sand moving in a circular path and hides underneath the bottom of the cone and waits for the prey. And when prey or the ant enters the pit, it tries to catch it, and if it tries to escape the pit, it allows the ant to slide to the bottom of the pit. And after consuming the prey, the antlion throws the leftovers and amend the pit for the next hunt. And the size of the pit depends upon the level of the hunger and the shape of the home. So these are the basic ideology of antlion. Which mimics in antlion optimizer. So this mathematical formulation of the antlion and ant is represented with these steps. So the steps of antline optimizer will be random initialization of antlines and ants, random walk of ants, trapping of ant in antline pits, building the trap, sliding the ant towards antline, catching prey and rebuilding the pit, and forming elitism. So elitism is a common process for all the algorithms which was inspired in the genetic algorithm. Elitism is the process, is one of the process. So where we do not leave the better solutions. So random initialization of antline and ants. This is the first step where the ant and antline are initialized. So depending upon the number of solutions and depending upon the number of dimensions, the antline and ant can be initialized. So here the solution candidates are two ant and lines. So the random walk of antline is shown in this equation, where x is the randomly initialized and an AM, DM or the random walk, and CD represents the minimum and the maximum variable of that dimensions. So trap pick of antline in pits. So the random walk C and D are governed by the antline, the solutions, and it affects the walk of the ant. So which is shown in this figure. So the building traps. So it is formulated with help of roulette wheel mechanism, where the total fitness is taken, and according to the fitness value of the antlines, we build the trap. So when the prey enters the trap, it tends to escape, and in order to avoid, the antline puts sand on the pit, so it slides over to the bottom of the pit. So this process is mathematically formulated, where I is the ratio which varies according to the current iteration and the total number of iteration. So this is similar to the weight updation process in case of PSO. So the weight will be updated. So this weight and the neuron's weight, you should not get confused. The W will vary according to the iteration. So this provides a balance between the exploration and exploitation. So in the initial search, there will be an exploration of the solutions, and at the end of the final iterations, the exploitation happens. So if a better solution is obtained, the ant which has a better fitness is replaced as an antline. So the fitness value is compared, and if the fitness is higher, the ant is replaced by antline. So in order to process the elitism, the random walk of the ant is affected or influenced by the elite antline and the random antline, and this equation shows the elitism process. So this is the pseudocode of the antline algorithms. So the parameter are such as search agents, dimensions and positions, and the number of iterations that are used have to be initialized. So the initial will be predator, antline and prey, and we have to calculate the objective function of all antline ants. So the best minimum at the first initial iteration is set as elite. So until the stopping criterion is satisfied, this stopping criterion can be the number of iterations, or it can be there is no deviation between the current iteration and the next iteration. So these are the number of stopping criteria. So generically the total number of iterations or number of generations is used as a stopping criterion. So for every AND, we use router wheel and select the AND line based on their objective value. We update the lower bound and upper bound on the search agents. Then the random walk is initialized. Since the dimensions vary for each variables, this has to be normalized. So we cannot combine two different dimensions. So normalization process has to be done. And we update the random walk by using the router wheel and random walk and form the array. So if an AND is fitter than the AND line, the highlighting process is done. So this forms the pseudocode of the ALO algorithm. So here, meta-heuristic algorithm such as ALO will optimize the weight, and the fitness function will be the error function, which is a difference between the target value and the output predicted value. So in the next slide will show the implementation for the time series problem. So a time series problem will have different data that are varying with time. So let us say there are 720 samples of time. So the seventh estimate or output is affected by the previous 6 inputs. So while training your ANN, 6 for in this example I am saying 6 are T1, T2, T3 up to T6 are set as the input neurons, and T7th is your output target value. So for the next sample, the input will be from T2 to T7, and the time T8 will be your output. So basically, training and testing are the process of ANN, where we train particular number of samples, and after, so training here is defining or forming the weights. So when we achieve the number of weights, we forecast using those weights. So a particular number of samples, so basically it can be defined by the users according to the problem. So in the works we can see that around 75% of the samples are used for training, and the rest 25% is used for predicting or forecasting periods. So in the next slide, this is a sample example of time series graph, where there are, so this is an example of a time series graph where there is a 4,320 samples, so in varying of 10 minutes as an example. So this is a sample data, but when we go for an IoT, we can access the traffic prediction data that is defined with IoT. So this is a sample data. So with this sample data, around 3,240 sample data is used for training purpose, and remaining 1,880 process is used for testing the ANN. So after implementing L-MAN and Antline optimized L-MAN for this sample data, we can get a period. So this is the testing graph. So the total sample I have shown you is around 4,320, and the last 25% of period is for testing or predicting. So we have a 3 plot over here. So one is the actual plot and the predicted plot using L-MAN network, and the predicted plot using Antline optimized L-MAN network. So this Antline optimized L-MAN neural network is giving high accuracy that I will show you in the next. So this is how a training process and the testing process happens. So in order to evaluate the different how we have predicted, we can use the error evaluation indexes such as mean average error, mean square error, root mean square error. Such error evaluation indexes can be used. So for this sample data, we have obtained the comparison of these two methods for the data, and we could see that the ALO tuned L-MAN network have given lesser error when comparing with the L-MAN network. So with this, I come to the summary. So we have seen a brief introduction on IoT and how time series can be predicted for an IoT example. So we have seen an L-MAN neural network, what are the basics of the neural network, and in order to improve the performance of the L-MAN neural network, how meta-heuristic method is helping or aiding in tuning the training process of the L-MAN network, and a sample case study has been dealt with. So with this, I end the session. So any queries, you can put it in the chat box or you can ask. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your presentations. Dear participants, if you have any questions or any query, please unmute yourself. You can ask directly to resource person, Dr. Albert, sir.
Is there any website like from which we can get
Rahul,
this?
sir, you can.
Yes, sir. To put it in the machine learning algorithm and electrical plan.
Sir, I am not able to clearly understand this.
Dear Ram, your voice is clear. Be louder.
Can you hear me? Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
If it's better to repeat your question, I don't understand your question.
So please be louder, sir.
Where to get the data set in renewable energy sources to work on machine learning algorithm?
Renewable energy sources data, you mean wind speed data, right?
Yes.
Wind speed data or wind speed data?
Actually, I am working on DC microgrid, so I
Okay.
the data set for the.
Now, see, almost all, for example, in India, you can search for IEX, right? Indian Energy Exchange, where you can get the data for load forecasting, for profit forecasting, and similarly, for example, if you want to know about the electricity price, also you can get it from there. If you are so particular, you can also refer Ministry of Non-Renewable Energy Sources, MNRE, where you can get the data for wind speed. You got it?
Sir, for solar?
Solar also it is there. I think solar we have not. Solar. I think they have not seen, but still it is. It must be there because it is renewable energy ministry. Therefore, I think you will definitely find data for solar also. You please check with it. Check with it.
Okay, sir.
And every country's government renewable energy agency, every country, US or Australia or England, they also have a specific website full data. You can get up to 1 minute data. I think 15 seconds data is also possible. If you go for a 15 seconds data, then it will be a big data. Then you have to go for big data analytics. You can go for LSTM network. That will be very powerful for big data analytics. That itself is in another field. You can learn it from some good experts.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, any other queries?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, I'm able to hear you.
Yeah. Sir, actually, I am also working on energy forecasting of buildings, right? So,
Okay.
is there any national agency in our country which monitors the energy consumption data centrally, or from where we
Yeah,
can
IEX.
get?
IEX.
Okay. It
Yeah,
monitors
data
everything.
is available in IEX.
Okay. It is
Yeah,
for
I think they
commercial
periodically update.
commercial
IEX is Indian.
for
Yeah,
commercial
you can
building
go.
also.
Yeah, commercial only.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
not commercial. I don't think it's for building.
Yeah.
I think it is for a particular area of energy.
Okay.
This thing. So you will get a lot of information there. IEX is one data where we actually collected the data and we simulated.
Okay, sir.
We predicted some this thing. It's also published in soft computing journal.
Okay, sir.
Mr. Rajat Nainwal, there
Yes,
is
sir.
Okay.
there is a National Institute of Wind Energy and the National Institute of Solar Energy is also functioning. So those are
Okay.
autonomous bodies under the Ministry of Human Resource, MHRD, right? Sorry,
Okay.
MNRE, right? So Ministry of Renew and Renewable Energy Sources. So
Yes,
they
sir.
are doing load forecasting, all those research, and they are having the data. So you may
Okay,
contact
sir.
for the
Okay.
particular.
Yes.
Okay, sir. I will just check it. Thank you, sir.
Fine. Welcome.
Sir, there was one question in chat box. How do we select a suitable action function for time series classification? Sir,
Sir, I think Sir has left the meeting.
yes, sir.
Please, we'll wait on 2 minutes. Rahul sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, sir had some network issues, sir. Please
Okay,
note down all the questions. We'll answer through mail.
okay, sir. Dear
Participants,
participants,
please post the questions in chat box. We'll answer through your emails. The corresponding answers will be sent to through email.
participants' material can be shared today evening. We will add the YouTube link in your mail, and then we'll share the links for recordings. You can go through the sessions on YouTube also.
And the afternoon session will start on 2 p.m. sharp. Please get connected, all of you, without delay, because resource persons will be waiting for long time for conducting, so to present the session. So please, participants, dear participants, professionals, please join 2 p.m. on sharp. So without any delay. Thank you. So
Also,
any feedback form we can.
one announcement that a feedback form is not depend upon your not depend for your attendance. Attendance is taking automatically here. So kindly stay in the session and watch the session. All your timing is recorded here. So kindly be on time and be in session for a whole 1 or 1.5 hours and enjoy the session and be interactive, ask more questions and get clarifications. Our afternoon session will start at 2 p.m. Be on time. If possible, be before 5 minutes. Person is from IGCOR. Kindly be.
Sir, hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Good morning, sir. Actually, sir, we want PPT for yesterday's session and today's session. Sir, is it available, sir?
Sir, once again, sir, I'm not getting your question.
Sir, we want PPT, sir. PPT. Slides.
PPT.
Yes, sir. Sir,
Okay.
actually, yesterday's session was very much informative. So
Okay,
we
sir.
want yesterday's PPT and today's PPT. Sir, is it possible, sir?
We will ask the resource person. If they give, we will share it with you, sir.
Sir, if you would mail me, I mean mail us to our
Yes,
respective
I
mail
will.
ID,
Every
so it would be better for us to know everything about this presentation. Okay, sir?
Okay, sir. Once we get, we will mail to all participants, sir.
Okay. So the next session will be held from 2 to 3:30 p.m. na, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we can disconnect, na, sir?
Yes, sir. You can disconnect. Once you submitted your feedback, you can leave.
Sir, feedback actually I am not getting, sir. Sir, can you send me again, sir? Please send me again, sir. Feedback.
Okay, sir. Find in chat box.
Due to network problems, actually we are facing a lot of problems. In Odisha, there is heavy raining here. Okay, sir.
Okay, no issue, sir. You can submit your feedback. You can
Okay.
find
Thank
in
you, sir.
chat
Thank
box.
you. Thank you.
So participants, you will be definitely get the video recording, the recorded video link in the YouTube, right? No need to worry about that. The PPTs and other materials, it will be requested to the those materials will be shared. So the video links, the recorded links will be shared to you, right? Thank you.